welcome to my channel. So today's episode has to do with permaculture and the recycling of materials. So sometimes we get an overabundance of materials that are being thrown away and we have to recycle them. And in permaculture we do our best to use organic materials instead of inorganics. This is packaging material for lights and things from a construction job. And these are boxes from different items, cakes and boxes of pins and things. You can see more cardboard throughout the substrata of my swales that I've dug. Over here there are plastic buckets that were going to be thrown away into the trash. This is a double bucket system, so the bucket on the bottom is a reservoir. The bucket on the top has multiple holes in it and acts as the bed for the plants. And it's a wicking reservoir, so hopefully it reduces the amount of times I have to water it. The bucket underneath has holes at the top and at the mid-level, so it doesn't drown the plant roots. These are cuttings from narrow-leaf cottonwoods that I had to get out of the way of a drilling operation, and so I brought them up here and replanted them, and it looks like they're hopefully they're setting roots. A lot of people are calling them willows, and that's fine. They're part of the willow family. They can be called willows. I could be wrong, but I believe that's narrowleaf cottonwood. So all these buckets have different plants in them. Many of them are edible. Some of them are medicinal, and some of them are just pretty plants. So again, you can see there's a lot of these buckets that we're reusing that we're going to landfill. They're just going to get disposed of. And instead of disposing of them, we're turning them into a garden. Not the prettiest garden, but we're not looking for pretty, we're looking for effective. And we need things to be effective. We can work on pretty later. First, we need survival. In this swale trench, you're going to notice a lot of paper and cardboard. This is the third layer of paper and cardboard that's gone down, which makes this a very spongy swale. This is going to be covered with more sand, and it will turn into a sponge layer to help trap and reduce moisture runoff and allow this berm to accept the water, which it's already doing fairly nicely, and slow it down from running downhill. Here you can see what looks like cardboard, which is ram board from a construction project, and that ram board makes pathways all the way up to there. It makes these pathways that meander a little bit, so that way we can walk without having weeds growing up through our trail and causing us issues with things like poison oak and fire hazards. When Christmas is done, sometimes the plants take and sometimes they don't. This is a potted Christmas tree that didn't take. Here's a Christmas tree that is taking. And again, more barrels. Now these are doing better here underneath this oak tree. So the oak tree is acting like shade and water retention for these for these barrels. Looks like an animal has gotten into one of my barrels looking for the peanuts that I put in there. That was probably a bad move on my part. I filled these barrels with peanuts, and you can see that animals just love their little peanuts, and they will destroy everything in the way of getting to a peanut. And that's my mistake. So I have to be careful not to plant peanuts so much. They love their peanuts. Man, they love their peanuts. So I'll do my best not to make that mistake again. You can see where there's no peanuts planted, there's no disturbance. And a foot later, where there's peanuts planted, there's major disturbance. So I don't know if this will do really well anymore, but whatever. It's part of the process of learning. Trying not to give the animals a reason to destroy everything, but man, they're really after those peanuts. So I'm gonna plant peanuts in a different way. I think I'm gonna skip doing peanuts inside the barrels without having protection from now on. It seems like all the critters, the gophers and the deer and the squirrels and the birds, everything seems to really love peanuts. So I'm going to have to focus on that as a primary crop. If everything loves it and we love it, then I think that's going to be a winner. You really got to go after crops that everything likes. That way the potential for success is high. Over here we got an old pumpkin or squash that we've cut up and spread everywhere. We're using it as fertilizer for this bed. Up in here you'll see the more paper, and it looks kind of messy, but as time goes on this becomes a moisture retention system, because layer after layer after layer, more and more paper goes down, more and more sand goes down, it turns into more and more soil. So it looks messy initially, but over time it becomes a highly valuable resource. And it just takes some thinking and a bit of patience and ignoring a little bit of a mess. Man, they sure do love their peanuts. Destroy everything to get to those peanuts. Fucking little bastards. Okay. Well, there you go. Recycling. Got to feed the squirrels and the birds too.